The multi-drop saved me bacon this week, and I'm in wind down towards my holiday now. Hi, it's Dave here, Anvil Logistics, and you join me on a Monday, the 2nd of May. And it is, what time is it? It is 1:45. And I'm back in the real world today. I've had to bid on the Courier exchange for a job. Didn't have much success early doors. Managed to get a job a bit later on from Ashton, just down the road from me, from a big DIY stroke, that kind of thing. And it went to the other branch in Sheffield, which I'd got a decent rate for. So I thought, oh, this is all right. But it wasn't going far. It was only on 33 miles, really. And I quoted 60 quid for it. And I got it, and I was surprised. But I figured £60 thing's going to take me about 2 hours because I'm going to have to go up with the tops. But then got to Sheffield, started bidding on work there. I think I'm bidding optimistically, really, because I put loads of bids in, didn't get anything. And in the end, I've managed to get a little job up to Huddersfield, which is where I am now, for minimum price. And I'm stuck in Huddersfield now at 1:45. Minimum price being £40. It used to be 50, but at the moment I've decided to take this. It was a small van job anyway. And I'm stuck here now at 1:45 with £100 nestling in my bank. Well, it's not yet. And I really could do with another job. I put a couple of bids in, not had any sniffs yet. So I'll let you know how I get on. And I've not heard yet from the people who I do a lot of work for whether I'll be needed tomorrow multi-dropping or not. I'm hoping I will. I've got 3 days left, and then that's me away then for 10 days or so. But we'll see. Payday today, by the way. I got paid today by my suppliers for all the work I did last month, or the month before. I've lost track now. And it was nice. A nice big amount of money's gone into the company accounts, which I'm going to keep most of it in. I won't be drawing any extra out because obviously I've got my insurance and everything coming due in June. So I want to try, if I can, to pay it all off at in one hit rather than doing installments. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Good luck. It's weird being back on the Courier exchange bidding for work, but just goes to show it's really a backload site, isn't it? So bidding for work for normal, it's not much cop really. It's a bit difficult. We'll see how we get on. Other people do well at it, don't they? So why shouldn't I? Well, it's now afternoon, and to be perfectly honest, it's been rubbish. Not had much luck. I'll tell you what I've done. I've done £100 for the day. I'm parked up near our house, just seeing if I can get anything local. But it's 3:30 in the afternoon. I don't think there'll be anything decent coming out. I'll have another look, but I seriously doubt it. But I have been contacted by my regular work supplier who've missed me. And I'm in tomorrow for the multi-drop. And I'm glad of it, to be honest, if this is like anything. I do think today is a bit quieter because it's the start of the working week. But I still think that people are bidding perhaps a little bit lower, and you know, companies have got used to those kind of prices. So I was finding it hard. I put quite a lot of quotes in today, but not much luck. So I'm just going to write the day off, I think, settle for what I've got. And if I was just solely relying on the CX, I would be worried, definitely. Anyway, multi-drop tomorrow, and hopefully for the rest of the week, fingers crossed. Morning. Tuesday morning. It looks like it's going to be a cracking sunny day. Looking over there, the sun's breaking out, shining into my eyes. And I'm on my way in to do a day's multi-drop today. Now I say a day, I'm hoping it's going to be for the rest of the week, to be perfectly honest with you. I've got used to getting the bigger money from this, although I do know it isn't permanent. But at the moment, I'm hoping they miss me. I'm hoping that the gamble paid off and that they now miss me. I don't know for sure. And of course, my friend, the operations manager, is back in now. I know he likes me. Anyway, yesterday's experience on the Courier exchange wasn't a very good one in my opinion. I might be a little rusty because I've not been doing much of the Courier exchange work. But the trouble is, the rates that are being offered are not very good. Don't get me wrong, you can earn a living, just, I reckon. But it just seems that there's definitely less work out there. Now, this could be that the fact that it was a Tuesday after the bank holiday and things hadn't really warmed up yet, because I did used to find that Mondays were not the best days unless I'd had something pre-booked in. So it could be that. But it definitely seems a bit cooler out there. And this is only my opinion, and obviously I'm not an economic expert, but I think that the general downturn of the economy is affecting the same day market. Companies, I believe, are thinking twice whether they're going to send something same day or not, because it is expensive. And if they can possibly get away with it and send it perhaps on the pallet network or something like that, then they will do. Now, I'm only talking here really about palletized deliveries and things like that. I don't think the small vans are adversely affected as much. In fact, yesterday when I was trying to get some work on the Courier exchange, the majority of the work was for the small van. I did actually bid for a couple. It was very difficult to win it in a larger van because, quite frankly, I can't go below £1 a mile unless it's a backload or something. And you know, I'm not really going to win it at that because I think most of the time they're operating at around 80p a mile. Now, I could be wrong, and in fact I'm wrong about that. Put your comments in here. I know there are some shippers out there who are paying around £1 a mile. Good shippers, you know who you are. For a small van, which I think is an appropriate price for a small van, but it isn't an appropriate price for a long wheelbase vehicle with its lower miles per gallon. And I also believe that if you bid with a long wheelbase van, some of the shippers, or whatever you want to call them, might look at that and think, why is he bidding for that work with that big van? Is he a co-loader? Well, in which case, most of the time, it's simply that you're just looking to get home. But I think that's just the way it is. Anyway, I'm off in today. I've got used to this multi-dropping, I must admit. I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying that I'm in love with it. I still prefer doing the same day work. But in terms of monetary gain, this is far better. For the miles I do, the fuel I use, and the income I get from it, it doesn't really compare. It is far better. The only exception would be perhaps if I got myself a really decent distance ADR job and a cracking backload, then probably that's more money. But you know, that doesn't happen very often, does it? And certainly ADR work on the Courier exchange is thin on the ground. I certainly wouldn't say, oh, go and get yourself an ADR license because you'll earn your money on the Courier exchange. You won't. You'll earn your money by getting your own work, definitely. Anyway, we're off. It's a sunny day, or the makings of a sunny day. And let's work out the last 3 days before we pack up and get away on our 10-day break. Hello there. It's Thursday, 4th of May, 3:20 in the afternoon. I would have been finished, me, 20 minutes ago. But for idiocy again on my part, and this just shows you get distracted, don't pay attention for whatever reason, especially on the multi-dropping, you can make an error. And that's what I've done today. And a relatively easy day today. It was really busy in the depot and they've had to draft in extra subbies. So what they've done is removed all the ADR stuff off all the runs, spread the ADR work between the drivers who were licensed to carry it, and the rest of the work's gone on the subby. So what that meant was that I had a relatively easy run, all ADR. Spread out over maybe a slightly wider area, but not too bad. It was like Wigan, Bolton, North Manchester, Oldham and Rochdale. Excuse me, frog in my throat. And I was on course for a nice early finish today. But when I got to my third from last drop, I've opened the doors and their stuff isn't there. But the stuff from about my third or fourth drop was. So what I've done is I've given the pallet to the wrong people. I remember getting them loaded this morning and shoving them on a certain order, and then not realising that they're similar pallets, but there's no excuse. I should have read the labels. So as a consequence, I've got to that place. Their stuff's not there. I've realised what I've done, whose it was, because there were two similar type pallets. Thought, right, I'll just finish these last two other drops and then shoot back down, see if I can retrieve that one. So I rang them. Yeah, we've got it. I said, I'll be half an hour, can you, He said, yeah, you just come back down and get it, we'll sort it out for you. They had a bit of a laugh. I've had to obviously admit that I was a bonehead. And I thought, well, I got away with this then, because I'll go down, pick that up, go back, deliver it to the right place. They get their stuff, everyone's happy, and no one would ever know that I was a knobhead. Alas, no. The company's rang me. One of the lads in the office rang me and said, hi Dave, can I just check on a delivery? And I knew. So I've had to admit that I've been a bonehead. They're quite happy because I'm going to sort it out, and what it's cost me is time and fuel. But nobody's perfect. So they've had a bit of a laugh about it because I thought I got away with it. But he said, no, you've been busted. But these things happen, don't they? And I don't go and say, oh, tough, I'm not going back for it. I go and my responsibility, my error. And the goods, whilst they're with me, are my responsibility anyway, aren't they? So obviously I want to make sure that I get these things back, otherwise I could be paying for them. Anyway, all's well that ends well. I've got them on board and we're heading back now to Middleton, and we're going to drop them off at the right place. They did say they'd be open till 6, but according to this I'll be there at 10 to 4. So it's still an early finish, because it's only 35-40 minutes to home from there. But I could have finished so much earlier, couldn't I? I'm in again tomorrow, and they forgot I was off because they said, and all next week. I said, no, don't forget, I'm not here. So hopefully when I come back there'll still be some work for me when I come back from my little soiree abroad. Anyway, I'll check out tomorrow, let you know what the script is. Oh, it's Friday the 5th of May morning, on my way in, multi-drop again. I'm glad it's multi-drop. I never thought I'd say this. Obviously, as the time's gone on, I got used to it. And quite frankly, I'm glad of the money. The money's decent, and it's getting hard to get it on the CX at the moment. I think it might be a difficult year on the Courier exchange, in my opinion. It does seem hard to find the work for what is a reasonable price. Now, I think they'd obviously forgot about my holiday. I had told them about my holidays, and when I rang in yesterday just to report someone who's refusing to sign for goods because they reckon the order's wrong, Darren immediately said to me, right, definitely in tomorrow and all next week. And I said, I'm off, remember, I'm not going to be here. it's going to be in the middle of the week after before I'm back available for work. Oh, I forgot about that. So it is a sign, I think, that I'm still going to be needed now that Darren's back running the shop on the trenches, so to speak, rather than his superior, who didn't seem as keen to have me in all the time. I think it's more for a costings exercise. Anyway, that aside, this is my last day of working, and then when I finish tonight, I'll go back down to the depot, hand in all my paperwork. Normally I just bring it in with me the next day. I could simply scan everything and email it through, but that's going to take a bit of time, so I'll just simply go in. Besides, every now and again it's good to have your present felt. So what this week has taught me is that if I was completely relying on the CX, I would be struggling. There's no doubt in my mind that I would be struggling. You do need exterior sources of income. There's no doubt at all. To get a decent level of income, enough income to give yourself a wage, and I don't pay myself a massive wage, but have enough to run your business, your fuel, your vehicle maintenance costs, your insurance, your CX membership, and all the equipment that you need to buy. Obviously sort out your income tax or your company taxes that you need to pay off your VAT. You need a good enough income to do that comfortably and leave yourself a buffer in case of catastrophe and things like that. And I believe that at the moment, simply just working on the Courier exchange, unless you get lucky all the time with return trips and decent rates, you're not going to do it. You're going to find it too much of a struggle. It didn't seem as bad when I joined in June. In June, apart from the initial hiccup when you first come in and you don't really know what you're doing, once you get into the swing of it after a week or two, everything seemed fine. I seemed to be pulling in the money all right. I did work longer hours than I work now, I will admit, and sometimes late nights, sometimes overnighted in places, a couple of times tramping out, the other times in hotels. But I made the money because I knew the figures I had to take, so I made sure I did. Whereas if I get this every single day, as much as it's not as interesting as doing the same day work, what it does give you is peace of mind. In fact, if I got it every single day, it would equate to a very comfortable lifestyle by my standards. Some people's earnings, the earnings that they need, are higher than others, aren't they? But for what I like to take, to make sure that I can pay my bills, have the treats like the holidays and the nights out and the meals out and things like that, then I need to pay myself at least £400 to £500 a week, which in the great scheme of things is not a massive wage, is it, by today's standards? But it's enough for me because I do not have a mortgage payment to meet, which is a massive chunk of a lot of people's income, isn't it? Either a mortgage or a rent. I mean, my son, him and his girlfriend are renting their first property together. I was of the opinion that they should have bought and would have helped them out if they'd have decided to buy, maybe lend them the deposit. When you say lend, it's a different word when it's family, isn't it? But they've rented initially, which is possibly a good idea to make sure they can live with each other and everything, but the rent, and this is a basic terraced house in a suburb of Manchester, is £750 a month. And then you've obviously got all your utilities on top of that. £750 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2 up, 2 down terraced house. That's expensive. They couldn't afford to rent where we live. You were talking over £1,000. And it's just beyond them, really, that. But the trouble is with renting, obviously, it's difficult then to save up for your deposit. But they're both working, so they can manage it, but it's a lot of money. Whereas I don't have that. I don't need to pay any of that kind of money out because I no longer have a mortgage. So what this week has taught me is definitely find other sources of income for your vehicle, for you and your vehicle. Don't rely on the Courier exchange. Reach out to people in your area who might need a bit of help. Even if it's other transport companies, people need subbies. And if they've got reliable subbies, you'll get a better rate off them than bidding for work on the Courier exchange because they can rely on you. There are people who reach out to me where I've initially worked for them via the CX, or even on some occasions because they've seen me on here offering work, and I'm grateful for it. Most of the time, unfortunately, I can't do it. But if you get out there, get in contact with enough people, you will develop relationships to help you keep moving. And in theory, I suppose you could then possibly not need to use the Courier exchange at all and save yourself the money on the subscription. Am I going to renew my subscription? It will officially be due in September, I think, because I got June but got an extra 3 months. In fact, I got an extra month after that, so it's probably going to be October. Probably is the answer, because you never know. But it's a big chunk of money to do. And if they were to turn around to me and say, look, hey, let's make this permanent, then I wouldn't use the CX at all. But I'm still not 100% sure whether I want to do this permanent, because then it's very much like a job all the time, isn't it? And as much as I love the guaranteed money, you're getting back into the situation it was before, same old, same old. So I think a nice compromise on this for me would be to do this maybe 3 times a week, and then do some same day work the other times, which would split up my week, wouldn't it? But it's not up to me, it's up to them. But moving forward, if they don't want to employ me all the time, but are willing to, you know, say, right, we'll use you, but we only need you so many times a week, or then that might be a compromise. I've just joined the motorway now, on my way down, and one of the large northwest courier companies is ahead of me there. I don't know if you can see it on the video. Quitline Couriers, Merseyside based people. You might have seen them advertising on the CX a lot, putting out jobs. Not done many jobs for them. I think I've done a couple when I've been in Merseyside, but obviously you can see Anvil are much faster, so you want to ring them really, because I've overtook it. But I have done stuff for them before, and they've always paid me on time. If I remember rightly, they're one of them firms where you have to upload your pods to a portal once you've completed the job, which you think, oh, that's a bit of a pain in the bum, but it doesn't take long and it's relatively simple to do. Anyway, there you go, Quitline, got your free mention there, one of your vans. In my manner. What's he doing around here? Time to get back to Merseyside. So I'm going to sign off for the week, people. Thank you for subscribing. I'm not far off getting to my target subscriptions now. So a little bit more, and I'd really love to beat James Fletcher to 1,000 subscribers. After that, he can overtake me. But I'm not far off. So if you don't already subscribe to the channel, would you subscribe to it for me, please? And if you've got friends who you think might be interested, send them a link to my channel. Say, please subscribe to this bloke. But realistically, thank you everyone for subscribing to me. I am grateful that you subscribe in enough numbers to show that there is some use in the content. If you like the video when you watch them, if you give it a thumbs up, it helps the videos get out there and hopefully helps other people. And once again, put your comments in. If you've got something to say, put it in the comments section. If you've got questions, put them in the comments section, because it all helps everybody else. Because if you've got a question and then it gets answered, other people might think, oh, that's a good idea. And it's these channels in this YouTube community that are put out there to help people and inform people of what we do. I mean, our channel's slightly different from somebody else's channel, theirs is slightly different from somebody else's channel. They all have different ways. I kind of operate like a video diary with little features about, you know, helpful tips. Others simply put helpful tips and nothing else. But I like to show you what I'm up to as well, and give you an indication of how well or not well I'm doing. I keep it honest. If it's been lousy, I'll tell you, because I think it's important. I don't want anybody committing to something like the Courier exchange and then turn around to me and say, you said it was brilliant. And it is you very much get out of these things what you put into it as well. The work will never come to you. You have to go out and find that work, even if it's bidding for it and you've got to travel to go and pick it up. Some work is better than no work, even if that work doesn't pay too much. But there's a limit to what you should bid at. Go too low, then you're actually giving money away. Anyway, I'm gonna have a little break now. I'll be back after that. I hope everybody does well, and I'll see you soon. You'll probably see this bald head looking rather red, hopefully. Oh, sorry about this. One last thing before I go. I just want to say hello, and it was great to meet you, to Frank from Mac Transport. Frank is a fella who contacted me months ago when I first started to put the YouTube videos out, and he has been a never-ending source of tips to me. He's always been offering me of advice. He's been in the game a long time. He's got himself a great little gig. I'm not going to say what it is, because obviously I don't want people poaching it off him, but he has been really helpful to me, always offering advice. And today I was driving in Cheshire and a vehicle was flashing its lights behind me, so I ended up pulling over thinking, oh, have I got something wrong, have I done something, have I cut him up? And this fella gets out, and it's him, it's Frank. He recognised the vehicle and he just flagged me and stopped me to say hello. It was really great to meet you, mate. Great to meet you in person. I know we've spoke quite a lot on the phone, but thank you for all the advice you've given me, buddy. I've appreciated it, and I hope we meet again very soon. Right, I'm definitely going now. Don't panic.